Okay, Chelsea. So let's talk about your road to diamond this week because Ashley said it was pretty nuts what you pulled off. So I don't I don't want to leave a message. That's scary. So can you tell us where you were at a week ago and what you had to make happen this week and kind of your action plan and how you made it happen? Where's she at?
Yeah.
There you are.
So last week I had 8 active coaches, and then one went inactive, and I didn't have any emeralds, and so I was upping my connections. So I started doing 100 connections every day to kind of open the top of the funnel, and so then that way I could, up my invites, and then let's see, and then oh geez, I just lost my train of thought. And so then I sent a massive follow-up list basically with everyone that I had talked to since I started a year ago, and was just talking about our team goal, which I've never done before in follow-ups. Just talking about how we had a team goal to hit by yesterday night, and I was actually surprised at how many people were like, oh, I really want to help, but I can't this month. Follow up with me next month. So created more follow-ups for this month. And then we got, and then I got one active coach, one more under me, and then built 2 emeralds.
You go, girl. That's some major hustle. I feel like that's the biggest thing is whenever you're pushing towards a goal, and you guys need to hear this because you will miss so many freaking goals in the business. And you should, because if you're not missing goals, then you're not pushing hard enough. So when you push through the finish line though, and you don't just peace out a few days before because it's so far off, when you push through the finish line, whether you hit it or not, you're way further ahead than you would have been had you not. So I have lots of coaches that, they'll want to hit Success Club. And then it'll be we'll have 5 hours left in the day. And they'll be like, oh, just not this month. It's just not my month. I'll try again next month. And I'm like, dude, do you know what can happen in 5 hours when you pull out all the stops and you go after this goal that you set? Whether you hit it or not, you're going to have more conversations started, more invites sent out, more people to follow up with. And the likelihood of you hitting it on the first, second, third of the following month skyrockets, right? That's going to be anything. When you're pushing for a new rank, when you're pushing for Success Club every single month, when you're pushing for anything, do not let yourself give up until you literally have passed the deadline and it's done. Okay? And if you just implement that one mindset skill, it really is a skill to be disciplined enough to do that, you will be leaps and bounds above 99% of everyone else. And that is what will set you apart. Okay. Let me see if Heather's on. I got a hold of her. She had an emergency at work. So she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me see. Are you on, Heather? If you are, just unmute yourself. If you're not, then we'll keep chatting. Let me see. She said she's about to jump on. So we'll see. We'll see when she jumps on. Let me just, you know what? I'm going to intro her. And then when she comes on, she can, if anyone sees her, tell me so I don't just keep jabbering. Okay, we're recording already. So today we get to hear from a coach that is new and that is crushing it. So there's a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of limiting beliefs around, oh, there's not enough room for success for me. It's going to take forever. I'm to this. I'm to that. Blah, 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 blah. That's all a bunch of BS, okay? And I'm excited to hear from Heather because she's done it, and she's done it recently, not 10 years ago when we had DVDs and it was a different game. She has done it with the game that we're playing now. So Heather signed up in February of 2018, okay? So just over a year ago. In 8 months, 10 months, she went 7-star and elite and was a top 50 team. in her first 10 months as a coach. She is a professor. She is a mom. Let me see. I can't remember if she told me how many kids she has. I don't think she did. We can ask her. She's a mom, a wife, professor, and she's an author. So it's not like she was doing Beachbody 98 hours a day. She had life to live. She had a career. She did this and she's crushing it. So I'm super pumped to pick her brain, and she's going to share how she did it, what she focused on, all of the things. Oh, I see her. Oh no, where did she go? I saw her and then I didn't. Where are you at, girl? Oh, I see you. Okay, here you are. I'm going to unmute you. Let me see. Oh, shoot. I just muted her after she unmuted herself. Where did you go? How am I losing you?
I'm here.
I'm losing you. Okay, we're going to pin you so that I can see you bigger, because that's more fun. All right, girl. So I already introed you. I just want to turn it over to you and let you tell us your story and all the things and whatever's on your heart. And then if we have any time at the end, we can maybe ask some questions or something. I don't know. How much time do you have? I know you're super busy.
I have all the time in the world now. I sent all the things out. I'm good.
You're amazing. Okay. Well, I'm going to mute myself and just let you take it up, take over.
Okay. I'm excited. Well, thank you for having me. I don't know what Micah told you guys, but I am a full-time professor. So, and I know, Micah, you're a mom of 4, right? And so, like, busy is how we are and what we do. And so sometimes we juggle all the things and sometimes we don't. And so I apologize for being late. I would like to say that that never happens, but it's just like who I am as a person. So on top of being a full-time professor, I'm also the editor of our I work at the University of Alabama. I teach business communication there. And I'm also the editor of the college's newsletter, which was supposed to go out in the middle of the night last night, and it apparently didn't go out. So my boss is like, where is the newsletter? So that's what I was putting out a fire. But I am going to share my screen really quick. So in true teacher fashion, like I said, I am a mom. I have a 6-year-old daughter, wife, a professor, all of the things. And I started coaching in February 20th of 2018. So I've been a coach a little bit over a year. And I say second time a charm because I was a Beachbody coach back in 2013 when my daughter was like a year and a half old. And I got DVDs from a yard sale, I'm pretty sure, and was like, I'll sign up to coach, and sold 1 challenge pack. I think that's what they were called then. And my husband actually lost his job, and rest is history. I quit within the 30 days and didn't really look back until I did. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background, but not get into, you guys don't want to be here all day. So I did dance growing up. I danced with the Atlanta Ballet. I grew up in Georgia, so I'm a Southern girl. And the women in my family, it was all about quick fixes and fad diets. And so I never had an example of lifestyle or healthy eating and working out and things like that. And so I just didn't have that example from any females in my life. And then with ballet, I remember being really young, like my daughter's age, and being in the bathroom at the studio with the older girls. We called them the big girls, and they would be in the mirror. And to me, they were just beautiful and perfect and ethereal. And they would be grabbing this and grabbing that and talking about, wanting to change this or to lose this. And as I got older, I witnessed eating disorder behaviors from them. And I ended up quitting dance because I got to the point where it was like, be homeschooled like the other girls or have a life. And so I quit dance and did the next logical thing. So I became a cheerleader and I cheered in college. So Mike, I know you were a D1 athlete. So I don't know, I use the term athlete loosely with cheerleading, but so I went to Alabama, I cheered in college. And when I got to college, developed a full-on eating disorder myself. And so anorexia, bulimia, it was all but encouraged. I had male coaches and they would weigh us. And if you weighed 1 pound over your tryout weight, which you tried out when you were, 17, 18 years old, you had to run until you weighed that again. And so just really unhealthy. And by the grace of God, the same day that I almost blacked out at practice, my sorority sisters and my mom and my coach all had an intervention the same day. And I didn't do the eating disorder stuff anymore, but I would love to say that, I magically got a healthy relationship with my body and food from that day forward, but that wasn't the truth. So really from college, really from the time I was 16, I found a bottle of diet pills in our medicine cabinet and took diet pills from the time I was 16 until the time I was 31. And so, I got married, we had our daughter, and life kind of went according to plan until it didn't. And in the fall of 2015, we found out we were pregnant with our second child. And they say that 1 in 4 women experience pregnancy loss or miscarriage. And my 3 best friends from high school and I were all pregnant at the same time, literally within weeks of each other, and didn't plan it or anything like that. And on October 15th, which is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day, I experienced miscarriage for the very first time. And I was the 1 in 4. And I just knew that I don't believe in coincidence anymore. And I knew that there was purpose in that pain. And there just wasn't the coincidence in the 1 in 4 and the dates. And I knew one day I was going to spread hope and have purpose in that pain. So that's kind of my background and story. And so some of you guys may know her, but enter Emily. And so I actually, taking that purpose, I started writing a book. It's called Broken Hearted Hope. It is out there in the Amazon universe now. It's self-published, so it's like, don't be impressed. It's not a big deal. But I was at the end of publishing the book or writing the book, and actually my daughter's soon-to-be kindergarten teacher, which was one of her Sunday school teachers, shared this ultrasound picture, and it was from this girl, and she was sharing her heart, and it was just this, like, she was spreading, her message was hope after heartbreak. And she was just talking about celebrating life, no matter how short or small or whatever. And at the end, she said, if this brings you hope and you feel like this could touch anybody, share it. And so my daughter's soon-to-be teacher shared it. And I was like, oh my goodness, this girl's story has to be a part of this book. So I reached out to her. She had gone all but viral. I'm pretty sure People magazine picked up her post. And I never dreamed I would hear back from her, but I heard back from Girlfriend almost immediately. And she said, absolutely, you're welcome to share it. So Emily's story became chapter 10 of that book. And it's called Celebrating Life. And chapter 11 became a chapter I never wanted to write. So as we were editing and finishing up the book, I found out I was pregnant again. And so in the process of going through the editing, we were about to push to publish, and I found out we were losing it. So it was like, here 2 years later, I was writing this book from a perspective where I had almost lost touch of what it felt like to lose that pregnancy. And here I had fresh perspective, and I was kind of dragging my feet on finishing the book, and it was like, okay, here's that purpose again. And so chapter 11 was called Even If. And so even if I never have a second child, we still don't. And the story didn't get better from there, honestly. But even if I still have that hope and faith. And so with Emily, this picture with her holding the rocks is really significant in our journey, because I watched her. She was in the 80-day test group, and she shared her transformation every single Sunday. And it was like, okay, we get it, right? But her body started changing, and I could see myself in her before, because pregnancy does a number on things, regardless how long, And I had kind of, my story is, I felt like my body had betrayed me, so I was going to betray it. And so I was eating all of the things and giving in to cravings, and I was over it. I was mad. and just wasn't taking care of myself. But more important than her body changing, there was this light every week that was coming back into her eyes. She had experienced 4 pregnancy losses herself. And it was just like, I was watching her come back to life every week. And so I messaged her and I said, hey girl, tell me about this 80-day thing, but don't ask me to coach because I've done it before. That was my first message to her about everything. She never asked me to coach. She didn't have to. So really, I'm going to share. So here is where I started. This is my 80-day obsession. I was a size 12. You can see, I'm not going to zoom in, but if you did, like, if you look in my eyes, I was a dead person walking. I mean, I was like going through the motions. I had the perfect job, the perfect life on paper, but I had literally no life. I was sitting on the couch. I remember my daughter would be like, Mommy, can we go play outside? Can we jump on the trampoline? And it was always, it's too hot, it's too cold, Mommy's too tired. And I would sit on the couch every afternoon and take a nap. And it was like I was watching my life pass me by and not living it alive. And so I did 80-day obsession. I had seen Emily go all in, so I knew I could. She followed the program to a T. And so that is what I did. And I got results. With 80-day obsession, I lost 24 pounds. I went from a size 12 to a size probably 6, but it became way after that. It was not about the size or the weight. And it became, I have this light in my eyes now, and I have got to share this gift and this passion to other people. So I did sign up to coach. And you guys, I want to give you guys hope for those people that sign up with the free trial and the bod. I was that person. So, you know, I like to do my research. And so I was the nightmare person. So I went online and I found the free trial. So I did that. I bought my sliders and bands from Amazon and Emily explained to me, like, this is going to cost you more money doing it this way. And I was like, whatever, I got to do things my own way. So I did. And when my quarterly bod was up, I was like, okay, fine. So I signed up with a challenge pack as a coach. I didn't tell my husband. I don't recommend that. But I didn't tell my husband. He's an accountant. So that's part of my story too. But signed up to coach, and I just wanted to cover the cost of my shakes because I'm not a shake person. I'm really picky, consistency. Anyways, I knew I wanted to cover the cost of that, and I didn't want this to cost my family any money. So that's when I went in. But then when I got these results, I was like, I've got to share this gift with other people. And so I did Lift 4. I just followed the programs that Beachbody does. So I did Lift 4. I got in the Transform 20 test group, and Ultimate Portion Fix, I was in the test group for that, and now I'm in the test group for Morning Meltdown 100. And every single program, I've just followed it. I get asked, do you do anything else? Do you actually follow the meal plan? Yes. And so that's been a huge part, I feel like, of my journey, is really diving in and just following the programs that are there. And so I'm going to keep going. Normally, I don't know if any of you guys were at the New Leader Conference, but normally right here I play a video. I'm not going to today, but there's this video of, it was a D1 track meet. It was the girls' track meet. And there's a runner that she was in first place. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but she falls like flat on her face in the second to last lap. And she gets up and she keeps going. And I don't know if it was like adrenaline or her training or both that kicked in, but girlfriend fell on her face and was in last and then kicked it into gear and ended up winning the race. And I was sitting there at New Leader and was just bawling, sitting at the table watching this video, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is my coaching journey. Because people here, and on the National Wake Up Call, when our team did it, they announced she went from 2 to 7-star in 1 week. And I was like, oh, no. There was a lot more in between that. And people hear that our team went from inception to elite in 10 months. And it's like, oh my gosh, what did you do? People think I had some kind of luck. I worked really freaking hard. And so now we're going to go from the story to the tangible stuff. And I'm about to give you guys all of the tips and secrets, but a lot of it was following that fitness journey and being a product of it. I'm not going to share any secrets today. I wish I had some, but it's the vital behaviors. And so being the product of the product has been huge. also the mindset and personal development, because I did fall on my face so many times. So to really show you guys what that looked like, this is my timeline of my coaching journey in that very first year. And so I was the 14-day free trial person. So there's that. And my quarterly bod was December to February 20th. So the very end of the month, I decided to sign up as a coach and not tell my husband. But I knew I needed to hit Success Club because I needed to cover the cost of my investment. And so in 8 days, I hit Success Club 8, my very first month of coaching. And then my next month of coaching in March, I went diamond in 26 days and hit Success Club 48. My third month of coaching, I went 2-star diamond in 56 days, team leader in Success Club 72. And a lot of that was sharing that 80-day journey. I shared it from day one. So my daughter and I used to, like, and it's so funny to scroll back. I did all the things they tell you not to do as a coach. Like, the lighting was horrible. It was a mess. But we just did every day. It was raw and real. And we would say day 1, day 2. And we ran out of fingers. And so it's funny. I got one of these felt boards. And now she loves to put messages on here. Her latest, she said, no one can tell you who you are because you are you. It's like, she's 6. But we started putting the days on here, and we just shared the journey, all 80 days, and people related to that. And so, like, it was really fast momentum. And it's funny, I didn't realize what I had when I had it, but I had a friend that she was kind of competitive, and she just ran as I ran. And so as I built my husband to diamond, she just did. And so that's how I did the 2-star, like that. But then here's what happened. I go to Summit, we go to family vacation, and that friend that was a rock star runner called me and said, you know, she was moving, and I think life transitions can make or break people. You either lean in or you decide it's not for you and you're going to quit. And so she messaged me or called me and said, I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to coach anymore. And so I was like, you know, here I just left Summit, literally had just come home from family vacation, and I was back at square zero. And so I just remember I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do from here? I'm literally starting over in June. And so what I did was this picture right here, you probably can't see it, but our local coffee shop has a prayer wall. And so I just turned over 2 things, and I'm going to share it because it's super cool now. So my prayers were a baby for Emily and Dylan. They have a baby now. She's so cute. And my other one was 5-star elite for my team. And when I wrote that, I felt so dumb, like praying about this and putting that out there. And also I was literally a diamond coach at that point. And I was like, that's insane to even think. But I was like, I'm going to pray big. And so I did. And then in August, I don't know, I have this phrase that you reap what you sow 2 weeks ago. I'll say that again. You reap what you sow 2 weeks ago. So when my coaches are like, I'm doing all the things and nothing's working, what were you doing 2 weeks ago? And for me in August, it was the 10th of the month, and I was at Success Club 0. I usually try to do Success Club 5 by the 5th and 10 by the 10th. And then the end of the month, I can just spend pouring into my team. But in August, and remember, August was that Transform 20 test group month. And I wanted to be in it so bad. And you see the other months, like I had hit the Success Club numbers to do it. And here I was in August, the 10th of the month at Success Club 0. And so August 10th is my birthday. And I sat at the end of our kitchen table, I'll never forget it, on my birthday. And I sat there and I invited 210 people on my birthday. And I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get in this group. And I didn't stop inviting until I did it. And so you guys know, spoiler alert, I got in the Transform 20 test group, but it was hard. And so from August, September, October, it was just starting over. In October, I got to go to leadership as Emily's guest. And at that, I was a 1-star diamond, but barely. And I just remember thinking there at leadership that Dylan was deployed, so that's why I was her guest. And I was like, I want to be here next year on my own merit. I'm going to be here. And so when I left there, I was like, okay, I'm on fire. And then we got 2-star back and premiere in October. And then what happened, so Diamond Dash and Text Effect. So our team does these quarterly Diamond Dashes. I'm sure you guys do stuff like that too. But with the Diamond Dash, it was like everybody goes in and say they want it and they're going to do it. And then like one would pop. And it was like, look, so I just had to have a conversation with them and said, if we want to be an elite team, you have to work for it as bad as you say you want it. That's my phrase for this year. You have to work for it as bad as you say you want it. And so I just said, like, this is our last chance. We have to go into 5-star qual by November 21st or it doesn't happen. And so what I did is pulled the people that had the potential that I felt like would put in the work and put them in a tech strand together. And so we ran, and every day they had to post their track. That was before Beachbody did the Success Club tracker. We had one of our own every day. And my husband was the one that inspired this. He said, stop telling people what to do. Start showing them what you are doing. And I was like, oh, okay. Because as a teacher, I just want to like throw out the resources and the magic and whatever. And it was like, oh, I just need to get in the trenches with them. And so that's what I did. And I was building my second CBC from ground zero as they were building their diamonds. So it was like I was in it with them. And so we had that text, and then literally on November 21st, and I'll never forget it because that week was Thanksgiving, and my family is completely broken. That's another story for another day. But we were sitting at our house on Thanksgiving, just us, and I'm like moping around, and my coaches knock on the door and brought me flowers, and we started celebrating, and we went into 7-star qual on November 21st, the last chance that you could do it. And the girls that were in that text, I was just hoping for the 5, remember? And me and my husband were 2 of the 5. And every single person that was in that text group hit diamond. And some of them like literally at 10:58 p.m., but they did. And so we did 7-star qual. And then what happened is we kept that text group and just kept checking in, and we were in the trenches, and we would just, I mean, if you've been through qual, you know the stress of like watching your back office and the inactives and, you know, stressing out on Tuesday when they do the sweep, and it's like, oh my God. But we ended up going through the 6 weeks qual 7 strong. And so we ended up, and I call them my little miracle team because it was like literally last minute every single week down to the wire. But we ended the year, our very first year as a team, 7-star elite. And so now where our team is being a leader. So my goal now is to become the leader that I feel like I've been called to be, but empowering them to be leaders too. In my very first year, I did a lot of pushing and pulling and hand holding and that kind of thing. And really my focus now is like, we did it, but now my dream is to see you do it for your own teams. So that's where we are. And so here are the tangible stuff. So I get a lot of questions. Like the days that I teach, I'm in the classroom behind a podium from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. Like I'm eating my little carrot sticks and hummus like behind the screen. There are no breaks, back-to-back classes. And so some of the days I'm home, like today. And then some of the days I'm in the classroom all day. So I don't have a daily schedule that I follow, but I do have daily non-negotiables. And so kind of my phrase here is it takes hard work, relentless persistence, and a positive mindset. And my daily non-negotiables are personal development. And I actually do 2 every day. And I usually have like a bunch going on and just pick up the one that is speaking that I need during that time. And so I always have something for my own personal faith or mindset. And then I always have something for business and leadership as well, because I feel like you need to feed yourself, but you also need to feed your future. So I always do 2 things. And then family time is up there for me. I used to not do calls at night, and I would watch recordings for team calls and stuff like that. My husband was super skeptical, so he was not about this at all. It also doesn't help that this is like the 6th MLM that I've ever done. So I've done it all. I meant that when I told Emily, don't ask me to coach, because I've done it before. But family time is huge for me. I feel like as a mom and a wife, I've got to prioritize. And a lot of my coaches, especially being on a faith-based team, a lot of people are like, my life is out of balance. How do you find balance? Well, sometimes I don't, but to me, your time is your responsibility. And so if your life is out of balance and your spouse is like, you're doing too much, you've got to prioritize your time outside. Like, I schedule time with my daughter. I schedule time with my husband. I turn it off at certain times. I actually do an inventory of my day from 5 a.m. until 10:30 p.m. and 30-minute increments all the way down. And I write down like taking a shower and washing my hair and taking my daughter to school and all of the things. And I find pockets of time in my day for these daily non-negotiables, because if I didn't inventory my time and take responsibility for it, I would just live life saying, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. And I would wear busy like a badge of honor. And for me, taking responsibility of that time is huge. So family time, working out, obviously being a product of the product, nutrition is part of that. And then my, I guess, specialty is inviting. So I invite, there is nothing that's going to drive your business forward. You can post on social media, you can Instagram story your heart out, all of the things, but inviting is the one thing that's going to drive your business forward. That awful August that I had, my you reap what you sow 2 weeks ago, it was because I had gone to Summit and family vacation. And I'm not saying you can't go to family vacation or Summit and enjoy life and have downtime, but the reality of it is it's like an escalator. You're walking up the down escalator, and when you stop or you take your foot off the pedal, you're going to see the effects of that a week or two later. So for me, my average invites are 250 minimum per week, and I invite Monday through Friday. So that does mean some days it would be 100, and then some days I would be lucky to get out 10. But my rule at the end of the week, my average output was 250 minimum. So there's that. And then social media, I have not shown up on social media since February 20th, 2018, when I signed up as a coach. That's including when my daughter fell off the bed and literally broke her arm in half, and we were at the emergency room all night long. I just snapped a picture over and asked for prayers, and just realized with coaching that my life is a part of this journey. So there is not one day that I have not shown up on social media since I've started this. So those are my daily non-negotiables. My next question usually is, how do you attract working coaches? So you got to be realistic about what it takes and what you're looking for. You got to be authentically you, share your heart and your struggles. But for me, I did myself a disservice in my first year. So I would talk about, I built this in the car rider line in pockets of time. That was my phrase. And I was not really showing the hustle and what really takes. I wasn't sharing the 250 invites and the hour that I put in and that kind of thing. So I really, your vibe attracts your tribe kind of thing. And so I really started showing. I was afraid because I still work full time. And I don't know if some of you guys still work, and you have this fear of like, well, what if my job thinks I want to quit? I don't want to quit. I love my job. My classroom is my ministry as well. And so I've just learned to talk about this like I have passion everywhere. And so, but also you want to share your heart and your struggles. And so for me, like, my story isn't rainbows and butterflies. I skipped a lot of it, but when I connected with Emily, and I had watched her show up, she had those rocks. She was at Disney World, and they didn't have weights at her resort. And I had this thought that I was like, if she can show up at Disney, I can show up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But what I forgot to share is once I connected with Emily, I had 2 more pregnancy losses. And so I had miscarriages that year in October, in December, and January. And January 11th was my last one, and 80-Day Obsession started January 15th. But one thing I do when I do share that story, I don't just share the struggle, I share my source of strength. And so I think a lot of times we're like, oh, I didn't want to work out today. This is so hard. And we talk about all of those aspects, but we forget to share the joy in the journey. Like, if you're not having fun doing this, what are you doing, kind of thing. And so be a positive and consistent light in other people's lives. You've got to add value to people. You've got to be more than Beachbody. You've got to share your story, and you've got to believe in people before they do. Everybody's afraid. And so that's kind of this is my team's power hour that I started. When I first started, I'm actually going to be live in the champions page next Tuesday, and I have a new and improved power hour that I'm really excited about. But this is what I did that whole first year. And so at the beginning, I would follow 50. And I told Micah, one of my number one questions when I share that 250 invites per week, people are like, how do you find that many people to invite? The only people that are following me are other coaches. I don't know if anyone's ever said that on here, but you got to expand your network. Like, if you don't get new eyes on the stuff, you're just speaking to the same crowd. And so at the beginning of my power hour, I would follow 50. I would invite from likes. So I hate the word cold. I do not cold message. I do not think of messaging as cold. I invite from, if you like my stuff, if you watch my stories, or if you follow me. I may not know those people, but they've invested in my journey in some way. You're up in my business, so I'm going to get up in your inbox, right? So if they like my stuff, watch my stories, or follow me, they get my hey girl. So that's what I do for my power hour. And then I connect. So the 5-3-1 method, I like that a lot. You like 5 photos, you comment 3 valuable comments. And I come from corporate marketing, and social media used to be kind of what I did for a living. And so in terms of those comments, you want to comment 5 or more words. So not just like super cute. You want to comment something 5 words, because that ups your engagement and tells Instagram that you are like a valuable communicator. So valuable connections. And then I would follow 50 more, and then do coaching activities. Like leaderboards are huge in motivating people, and things like that. And I don't do the follow 50 in my power hour anymore. I actually took that out of the power hour and just do straight up inviting, so I could get more inviting done. And I used Captivate night mode. And I know people were scared because the cloud or something went away. You can still use local queue on Captivate night mode. But my strategy for finding and following people is I think about who I was when I was the mom on the couch. I was in my sweats. I was exhausted. I looked a hot freaking mess, but you better believe in the South, it's like the bigger the bow, the closer to God. So you better believe my daughter looked cute. And so I would just go to the brands that I buy for her clothes, because my target audience, Danielle Natoni laughed at me when I said this one time on her call, but my target audience is moms with money. Because, I was a mom, I was exhausted, but you put everybody else before yourself as a mom. Sometimes you're taking care of everybody else and you want more. So maybe not moms with money, but moms looking for more. That's my target audience. And so I would go to the clothing brands. I go to the coffee shop I like. I love, Proverbs 31, Lisa Turkhurst. I would go to authors, bloggers, people that I like. And I wouldn't just go to their followers. I would go to their most recent post and go to the people who have liked or commented on that. Because if you just go to their followers and you start following people that like them or the brand or whatever the place, then they may or may not be active Instagram users. But the people that have liked the post within the last 24 hours, they are active, especially the ones that are commenting. Those are your people. So those are people who I follow. All right. And then the next thing is, this is my slay the day. I have it here too. I will send Micah the PDF. But this was before Beachbody did the tracker, and I have to be organized. And so the days I didn't have 30 minutes to an hour, I knew if I had one of these I would just print out a bunch. And if I had these in my purse, I could just like track them off through the day. So invites, I have 40 on there, because if I do 40 every day, Monday through Friday, that equals my 250. today's personal development and a key takeaway. I think sometimes we do personal development to check a box and we don't really reflect on it. So I wanted that reflection on there. The workout, the performance, that product of the product. I struggle with drinking water, so I put drink up on there, water. And so the to-do, follow 50 to 100, add 10 to 20 Facebook friends. I still get a lot of people. I mean, I completely built my business to 2-star from Facebook. I didn't even use Instagram until like month 4 of coaching. I don't recommend that. But I used to call myself the Instagram mom because I didn't know how to use it. I had my daughter's pictures on there because I was going to do a chat book at one point. Never did. But challenge group check-in, coaching activities. And then these are just reminders to myself, timeline pictures, 1 to 3 posts, not all Beachbody related. And then stories of you talking and not just pictures and boomerangs, because I was terrified of doing stories on Instagram. And I feel like stories have been crucial because people get to see your personality and the real you, and they are invested in your life. I mean, I have people on my stories that they know my dog's name, they know my husband's name, they know his personality, they know my daughter, and it's insane. I was like, no one is going to care. I have nothing to say. My life is boring, and people do care. So stories are really important. And then at the bottom, I have today's wins because I think it's really important to have a positive mindset in this business, because if you don't have gratitude and you don't focus on the positive, then you are going to be attacked. So that's that. All right, and here are just some of my phrases if you feel stuck. I don't know if you guys were super excited to see the month of April go, and I think I heard from a lot of teams that there was just like something in the air, and April was kind of slow. I don't know what was up, but I'm glad it's gone. But if you find yourself saying, I'm stuck, I'm struggling, I'm not having any luck, my advice is if you say it, you'll feel it. So whatever you speak over your business, that's how you're going to feel. And so just like when I fell flat on my face, instead of being overwhelmed, I mean, I felt that way, but I wrote on that index card 5-star elite and was just so future focused and so positive about the journey. I'd seen other people do it. They could do it. I could do it too. And then instead of stating the problem, seek the solution. So I actually, one of my first jobs, I worked in football recruiting under Nick Saban, Roll Tide. And if you guys know anything about football or Nick Saban's personality, you cannot bring a problem to him. He's going to ask you, well, how would you handle it? And he also is like, if you win the national championship, or we would be the #1 recruiting class, he had this rule that you could celebrate for 24 hours. And then he was picking apart the performance to see what we could do better, even when we were #1. And so that's kind of the mentality that I have. Let's not state problems. Let's just go ahead and seek solutions. I say Google it and go for it. Apparently there's a phrase called GTS. I'll say Google that stuff. So Google is amazing. And I didn't have a ton of resources. We do now. We have like a Coach University type thing, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The information is out there. For me, if I didn't know how to expand my followers on Instagram, I Googled it and figured it out, and that's how I found Captivate. You want to be your own CEO. So, employees go to work 8 to 5, kind of do the bare minimum to get by and just wait for their boss to tell them what to do. CEOs, they get up, they stay late. If something's not working, they try something new, they fail forward, they figure it out, and they never stop the relentless pursuit to their goals. So be a CEO and find what does work for you. So what Micah does, what I do, what Emily does may not work for you. You've got to find what works for you and your audience and your tribe. And then sayings to live by. Fear is not welcome here. And it's so crazy because I feel like this was the theme at New Leader this year. And then work for it as bad as you say you want it is my phrase for this year. And then there's no such thing as failure as long as you keep going. So in summary, I say share, don't sell. You want to add value. You want to be consistent, get results, face fear, have fun, fail fast, and figure it out.
Bam!
Bam!
Bam! Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me stop the, can I do that? Oh wait, well, okay, there we go. That way we can see your face. That was amazing. Holy crap. Okay, so basically you did the things, you got super disciplined, you got super intentional, and like that's that. Like, I love when there's just no secret.
Absolutely none.
No secret. Okay, so I did see a couple questions come through and you kind of answered some of them. So one of them was like, where are you getting the people you're inviting from? So it's the likes, the watchers. Hold on one sec. Hold on. Were there any other questions that you guys had? That was so good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just the likes and there are times, that it's like, okay, it's the same. I remember early on, it would be like the same 100 people liking and watching and all of that. And I just knew it's time to expand that network. So I just, and also like I've been telling my girls now, I notice a lot of my coaches, they're doing the following, but they're not. So they're on Instagram. You always want your following number to be lower or the same as your followers, because Instagram, if your following is too high, that tells the algorithm like, hey, this person isn't interesting and they're just following a bunch of people. So I had this kind of schedule that I would go into Captivate night mode to follow until I got to that even number. And then I would give it probably 2 days for people to follow. You need to give them time to follow you back. And then if they didn't follow me back within those 2 days, I would go on an unfollowing spree. And it was just, there's no like secret, I've been doing this a year and I just hit the 10,000 mark not too long ago. We celebrated that. It feels cool when you can say swipe up and whatever. It's super convenient. But that was a relentless, like nightly, daily pursuit of just that process. And if you ever stop it, you're going to get in that part of like, hey, the same people. I actually, when my team hit elite, my husband and I kind of sat down and talked about prioritizing time and how do you continue to do this. And so I actually invested in 21 Social instead of Captivate. And I think a question just came through about that. Can you use 21 Social and Captivate at the same time? And 21 Social tells you that they max out actions and not to be doing anything on top of it. And I'm a control freak. So I'm like, are you sure you're following the tribe that I told you to do? And, so I kind of miss doing that myself, but that is one thing that I took off of my plate, but you've got to expand your network.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely essential. What does your flow look like as far as like when a new follower comes through, he wants me to go make him a corn dog. So if I like go missing for 29 seconds, that's what I'm doing.
Love it.
Okay, so maybe while I ask you this and you answer, I'll go do that. Okay, so what does your flow look like? A new follower comes in. Do you connect with them first? How long do you wait to invite them? What does your invite look like? That kind of thing.
Okay. So when somebody follows me, they get a hey girl. So my hey girl, I'll just read it to you guys. This is fun. I use text replacements and that saves me a ton of time. So if you're not using text replacements, Google how you can use text replacements, but I do IGHG, which means Instagram hey girl. And so once somebody follows me, they get this message because if you go to my Instagram page, it's very clear that I'm about faith, fitness, family, and I say food fails because I can't cook and I try. But so I say, hey girl, thank you for following along on my faith and fitness journey. I wanted to see if you're not already. I added that because I get a lot of challengers and other coaches and that kind of stuff. I never want to step on toes and stuff like that. If you'd be into joining one of my challenge groups to grow in confidence and faith and get healthy from the inside out. We'll focus on nutrition, motivation, accountability, working out, workouts optional now with Ultimate Portion Fix and stuff, and support. Let me know if you or anyone you know would be into it. I would love to have and then I compliment them about positivity or whatever vibe in the group. And so it's funny, I've had other people try to use my hey girl and it doesn't work because if this is what I'm about, if you go to my page, this is in my voice, this is what my page looks like, but there are some elements. I have a formula for a perfect hey girl, and it is that opener. So hey girl, and then you want to thank them for following along, whatever your journey is about. And then you want to invite them to your challenge group or the coaching opportunity without word vomiting all over them. So notice for me, I just say healthy from the inside out, because that's what I'm about. Nutrition, motivation, accountability. I just hit those words that are like everybody's struggle. And then the phrase, let me know if you or anyone you know would be into it, is crucial, because I have had coaches go like the Ruby, which like nobody ever goes, but I've had coaches do that in their first day because they're like, oh yeah, they like just don't know they can invite people to do it with them. And so I've had people that will ask their sister, their mom, their secretary where they work, and then I'm like, oh, you need to coach. And so that little phrase has been crucial for me, and then complimenting them at the end. It's very short and sweet and positive. I don't have any emojis. Also, explanation points are huge. Make sure every sentence doesn't end with an exclamation point. Make it like every other one, because in communication, if it's all exclamation points and a ton of, you guys have probably gotten messages from other companies that are like, it's all emojis, and that just screams salesy. You just want to be you. Just have a normal, short and sweet conversation. And to answer, yes, right when they follow me. I am pretty fearless and relentless because this is such a gift. Like I got out of my own head and out of my own way a long time ago, because it's not about me. It's not about my fear. When you shift your mindset that this is about, there are other Heathers on the couch that are depressed and not spending time with their kids because they have no energy, that need this gift. And so I just get out of my own way. Yeah, if you follow me, you've invested in my journey. You liked something you saw, so I'm going to send you a hey girl. And a lot of times they're like, no, I'm just here for the inspiration. And then when I do my Transformation Tuesday, my Side by Sunday every single week, then they're like, okay, tell me about, what is this again? And they come back. And so, yes, if they follow me, if they're liking, if they're watching the stories, they absolutely get that hey girl message.
I love it. So I saw Amanda, she said, how's your response been when you started to implement the invite right with the initial follow message? So before you answer that, I love the fact that you send the invite without fear and without reservation, fully though understanding that that is a planted seed. That is not okay, if they don't order right now, I suck and I'm defeated and now I'm going to quit. That is a planted seed that you're going to then cultivate as you continue to share your journey, you continue to show up, continue to build that relationship with your post and with your story.
Yes.
I love it.
And I think that's one thing I think coaches get in their own heads so much, because like you should be sending so many invites and looking so to the positive that you don't even count the ghosts and the no's. Like, that doesn't even, like, thank you for telling me no. I'm going to continue forward because I will find the yeses. They are out there. There are women that need this gift. And so I send so many invites. It would be staggering if I sat and I'm a pen and paper girl. So I just like write my little daily thing, and I'll write my 1 through whatever on here. It would be staggering if I sat there and counted the ghosts and the no's. So I just don't. I just invite and invite and invite and know that those people come back eventually. So yeah, absolutely. Mindset is key.
I love it. Do you have a follow-up like flow, or what's your
my follow-up flow is totally disorganized. But like I said, every day I go to the likes, the followers, the story watchers. And so if I'm doing my job, putting out valuable content, those people are still liking, watching, and all of that. And so I'll go to that person and you can see the last message on there. And so I can pick right back up, and those become my follow-ups every day. So when I say I send 250 invites to me are touches. And so they're either brand new invites or follow-up messages. And my follow-up message is, and I have them on my phone, so I will text these to Micah, but so you guys can have them. But I do IGFU. It means Instagram follow-up, but it's short and sweet. And I say, so if they don't respond to my first hey girl, but they're still liking and watching and all of that, I'm like, I see you. I say checking to see if you got my invitation above, and word choice is really important, because when you say invitation, somebody's like, wait, did she send me like a birthday? What did she send me? And so they go up and they reread that hey girl. And so I say, checking to see if you got my invitation above. I don't want to bug you, just want to thank you for your support and for following along in my journey. And most people, that prompts them to respond. I get a lot of second responses that are like, oh my gosh, I literally read it and meant to, but responded in my head. And then I'm like, oh my God, girl, me too. I do that all the time. And we start to build this relationship. But when you say, I don't want to bug you, and I'm checking to see if you got my invitation above, in that follow-up, I don't say anything about, would you like to join my challenge group? The deadline's reaching this week. Like, I just like, it's an opportunity to prompt them to respond and to connect. And if they don't respond to that one and they still watch my junk, then they're going to get 531, and I'm going to get up in their business and start to comment those valuable things for them. And it's just one of those things, like patience, because you don't want people before they're ready, because they're just going to get a challenge pack and return it or fall off the face of the earth. Like, you need them to be ready. So that's my follow-up process. It could be better. I know people use like Google Streak and all of that, but I'm just,
I love it. Oh, it's perfect. And that's, I think, what people need to hear is like, there is no black and white, right or wrong. You have to do it this way. You find what works for you. The secret is in the consistent flow of what you're doing every freaking day. Okay, it is an hour past we started. Oh my gosh, this was so good. I just could talk to you all day long. You're adorable. Is there anything like you're dying to ask her, you guys? We have like 29 more seconds. Thank you so much for taking time to do this.
Thank you for having me, and I'm so sorry for being late.
Oh, you're good. I was just like, I don't know where she is. I don't know. And I'm worst at time zones, so I'm like, did I tell her the wrong time? Am I totally like an hour off? I'm like, because I've done that before. We'll see. Oh, Bryn asked, do you have an assistant?
So that was another thing when we went elite. I did invest in it. It was funny. She reached out to me and I was like, okay, this is a scam. And I was like, well, she was faith-based and all that. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, do you have references? Like, can you send me some coaches that you work for? And her sister does it too. And so I did my due diligence and asked around and stuff like that. So yes, I do have an assistant now, and she just kind of helps me out with, she does a lot of the following up process. So she has the text replacement and will do stuff like that. But I'm very big on, if you like message on Instagram, it's me. And in my challenge group, it's me. And I always want to be the one having that conversation. And so she may like do the text replacement to start conversations, or, I'll have her do like my leaderboard or something like that. I mean, I think there comes a point in your business, you got to work smarter and not harder. And there's only so many hours in a day. So when it comes time to be able to invest in your business, it's a business. So do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I always, at the beginning, I like prided myself on not having an assistant and doing it all myself and not having help and being a mom and taking care of all the things, until I was like, I'm going to drive myself freaking crazy. And so then I just started delegating. I'm like, what do I not like? What actually moves my business forward, that if for some reason life happened, I need the mom, I still need to get done. I delegate those things so that no matter what, they're getting done. And it was like the best thing I've ever done in my whole life.
Amen. And I was the same way. I was super against it. And I'm pretty sure I ghosted her like good 3 or 4 times before I was like, okay, tell me, who are you? So, but I'm very thankful for her now.
For sure. Well, Heather, you are a light. I'm super excited to see what you continue to do with this. Like, it's just such an incredible platform, and your mission and your purpose, and it just runs so much deeper than workouts and nutrition. And when it's bigger than that and it's bigger than you, that's when just everything, the sky's the limit, and you can just change the world. It's so incredible.
It's awesome.
So cool. Well, thank you so much. I know everyone is just fangirling over you, and my threads will be blowing up. So appreciate you. Keep rocking it. I'm excited to see you what you do this year. I have no doubt you guys are going to crush it. So congrats on all your success.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Okay, have a good day, you guys. See ya.